Hi, Dr. Connie here. So over the past weekend, I enjoyed a jam-packed few days rubbing shoulders with the big names in functional medicine, including Dr. Amy Myers, Dr. Mark Hyman, Stephen Gundry, Terry Walls, and my favorite, Dr. Fasano. It was the annual international conference led by the Institute of Functional Medicine on autoimmune disease. I met lots of like-minded practitioners from all over the world, and it was truly a worthwhile experience. I'll be sharing what I learned over the coming weeks, but today I want to start with the most pertinent information regarding our microbiome as it relates to inflammation, which is the leading cause of all chronic disease. So what exactly is microbiome? Well, microbiome is a hot topic in the field of functional and integrative medicine. And microbiome refers to the microorganisms in our body. We depend on a vast army of microbes to stay alive every day. A microbiome not only protects us against infections and germs, but it also is responsible for our metabolism. It helps to break down food, release energy, and make bioavailable vitamins for our cells to use for optimal function. The problem is that often we have what's referred to as dysbiosis. And dysbiosis refers to an imbalance of health-promoting bacteria and disease-causing bacteria as well. And this in turn causes a nutrient deficiency, leaky gut, and immune dysregulation leading to inflammation, which ultimately causes disease. The root of any chronic disease is inflammation. The most common symptoms that most struggle with are obesity, brain fog, high blood pressure, insulin resistance, GERD, and pain. So there's a lot of confusion and chaos. With growing number of authors writing nutrition and diet books, it's becoming harder to understand exactly what our diet should consist of. There were 3 experts at the roundtable discussion promoting their new books, one promoting the specifics of plant-based diet and another promoting the paleo Mediterranean diet, while the last one argued that food really isn't the enemy. Then there were a plethora of exhibitors promoting various supplements, keto plans to laboratory testing and herbals. All this excitement used to be so much fun for me 10 years ago when I first got introduced to functional medicine. However, as a patient who's applying the concepts to my own life, it can be confusing and overwhelming, even for me. And as a lupus patient and a clinician obsessed with progressive cutting-edge information, everything that was said over the weekend was nothing new. So what diet is the right diet? With the media going crazy over the keto diets, one presenter shared the detriment of such a diet for an obese rheumatoid patient or rheumatoid arthritic patient named Jane. She went on a keto diet which eliminated carbs and incorporated lots of healthy fats and healthy vegetables and fruits. After about 6 months on this diet, Jane lost 40 pounds, but she began to have swelling and achy joints with her laboratory markers clearly out of normal range, indicating positive inflammatory markers. So for Jane, the keto diet worked to lose weight short term, but due to her microbiome composition or dysbiosis, it ended up causing more inflammation in her body due to her genetic predisposition coupled with her dysbiosis, wreaking havoc in her metabolism in such a way to lose lean muscle tissue rather than losing her fat. What we're now learning is that a very low-carb diet is much more effective than a low-fat diet for short-term weight loss. On a keto diet, you may lose weight, but are you losing fat? Based on a study, body fat loss slowed during the keto diet and loss of lean muscle increased. So focusing on the bugs is key. What's important is not to focus on the type of a diet, but focus on the microbiome. For example, patients with autoimmune disease exhibited decreased bacterial diversity in their gut compared to the healthy individuals. Also, a diet high in saturated fats leads to decreased gut bacterial diversity. And saturated fats include fats from animal foods like beef, lamb, pork, chicken with skin, whole milk, cheese, etc. But I would argue that if you do incorporate a lot of vegetables, that would not be so. So we don't know what they were looking at in this research. But rather than getting lost in what type of diet we should follow, we need to address the underlying biology of multiple components of the systems as a whole. So what does this mean for you? Well, thinking about the big picture rather than thinking of some of the parts, because after all, we're a whole being. Truth is that we're 99% bacteria and 1% human. And the role of our microbiome, collective bacteria in our gut, plays a huge role in our immunity and inflammation. What we know is that all disease begins with inflammation, and autoimmunity is prevalent in all of us. Our microbiome plays a major role by modulating a balanced immune response. The disruption of our microbiome by intake of modern drugs and lifestyle plays a huge role in autoimmune and inflammatory disease, according to research. We can no longer ignore the role that our intestinal microbial bacteria plays in modulating our immune system and ultimately our overall health. Microbiome determines the effectiveness of the nutrients that we consume. It affects how we metabolize our food, and the composition and the function of the microbiome can predict the effectiveness of our dietary changes. Not only do we need to know the good bacteria from the bad, but we need to know specifically who lives within us. And knowing the specific bacteria species will determine how to balance our gut. This is because there are significant immunological and metabolic properties of each bacteria. The effect can be both health-promoting or disease-promoting. And when we refer to the leaky gut, we know that there are holes to invite the bad into our body. We want tight junctions to keep the bad out and absorb the good. Now we know that certain bacterial strains increase tight junctions, but they vary depending on the type of bacterial strain. So the role of virus in the human microbiome. So viruses are commonly found in our microbiome. They are readily absorbed through the gut barrier, and their effects are not very well understood. We do now understand that viral infections and antiviral immunity contribute to the development of autoimmunity. So let's dive right into the importance of what's called butyrate. Butyrate is a type of fatty acid that helps our gut function. It's especially important for those of us with autoimmunity. And butyrate is present when our gut microbiome reacts with fiber that we consume, causing fermentation. For some of us who have yeast or bacterial imbalance, we have signs and symptoms of gas and bloating. Butyrate is produced when our gut ferments certain types of fiber. And our gut needs butyrate to function properly because it helps the health of our gut by making sure that there is a healthy balance of new and old cells. And butyrate is important because of the following: intestinal health, immune balance, it's also anti-inflammatory, it suppresses cancer cells, and for brain health and longevity, weight control, insulin sensitivity, dietary balance, and microbiome balance. So how do we increase butyrate? Add bacteria from foods or supplements by taking probiotics, and feed the bacteria prebiotics, which is through vegetables, eating lots of vegetables. But if you've been given antibiotics, then we've got another layer of a problem to solve. We need to supply good probiotics, then eat prebiotics to nourish the gut bacteria so the good guys can prosper and the bad guys don't have a chance. So autoimmunity and butyrate. For autoimmune patients, there's lower butyrate production compared to an average person. And as we mentioned, lower levels of butyrate increase inflammation and result in joint and muscle pain. Lower levels can be also caused by our autoimmune condition as well as antibiotic use. So to recap today's message, our microbiome determines the metabolic function of our body. It's important to know who lives within us to understand how to support our health. We're all different, So we need an individualized approach to food rather than following a general diet such as keto. And our microbiome plays a key role in modulating our immune system. And butyrate is necessary to provide a protective barrier in our gut. So eating healthy fiber from certain vegetables and fruits can promote healthy butyrate production. And butyrate can also have an immune modulating effect. We need to do everything we can to follow an anti-inflammatory living plan. We at Alkaline Wellness believe in bio-individuality. We don't believe in a specific diet for everyone. Rather, we believe in first starting with you and then figuring out the right food plan specific to your needs based on your health history and current symptoms or disease. Health is wealth, and health is something we must all actively protect as we live in a world that is not conducive to creating health. We're up against growing obstacles such as increased stress, sedentary lifestyle, increasing diseases and symptoms, and toxins all around us. Our conventional medical system treats disease. This is a problem because we now know that most disease can be prevented. Key is to stay proactive in creating your health. Interested in a personalized alkaline functional plan? Call us today at 678-335-5566 or email us at info@alkalinewellness.com for a consultation. We have telemedicine consults and in-person programs to suit your needs. If you enjoyed this blog, please subscribe to our newsletter at alkalinewellness.com or lupusrebel.com and subscribe to our podcast and our YouTube channel. All the links are provided below. Also, please like us on Facebook, Alkaline Health, and Lupus Rebel. We'd love to hear from you as well, so please comment below. We've got much more to share, so stay tuned for next week's Alkaline Health blog.